Okay. So I'm currently at school, and I just want to make this video record to document my current status quo, let's say. And yesterday, I went to counseling, and today I went to school's counseling, and I met my program leader to talk about my latest situation and also my way forward in managing my own academic um, accountabilities and also some of my like own emotional turmoils. And honestly, I want to like sort of acknowledge like the progress that I've made so far, and because I literally have that thought that maybe I did overcome something that is very fundamental and very core to me, and it suddenly have a very massive shift in the way how I see myself, and I would like to take pride in acknowledging it, to know that I am making progress because um, it's kind of rare. So it has been um, only a couple of videos that I start making videos documenting my feelings, and I sort of felt different in actually verbalizing my own thoughts and emotions through a video or through verbal means. It actually felt a bit more liberating because when I use journaling or some texting or writing, I tend to be more intellectualizing my feeling instead of like processing things literally. And I mean, there's nothing wrong about like writing your feelings out. It depends on the circumstances. Like in some situation, if you have to, really get into that snowball effect and you have to do things and somehow is in that limbo state, then I guess journaling is a very good way to like, let's say, ground yourself. But I mean, at least for my circumstances, I was really like emotionally like really drained out. And I mean, this is kind of like this couple of weeks and months is kind of like the first time I really let my emotional out, and it's more overwhelming than I expected. But I'm actually a bit more proud that I am actually trying to process my emotion other than like intellectualizing it. I mean, by processing it, it means like I'm trying to like feel what I'm feeling and trying to like, express them instead of like suppressing them, which is kind of the like the go-to way that I have been dealing with them all these years. Um, like as far as I'm concerned, in primary school and secondary school, all of these emotions, everything I've been dealing with inside myself. I internalize things within myself, and if I have any like emotional need, the thing that I would just do is just like I would just do it with myself. I don't seek help, and when I seek help, I probably will withdraw the next moment at all. And it's difficult for me to even like make friends with people, honestly. But this recent years, before I entered university, I began like seeking like therapy, and I actually start to deal with my own eating disorder thing, which actually get a bit better, but it sort of relapse, especially in these few months when I have to like deal with the emotional things and starting to process things. What I realized is that through like therapy, I actually start um was being able to slowly emotionally reconnect myself, and which is something that I'm quite proud of actually. And in this couple of months, I was able to like consistently seek that therapist, um, and I think that is something that I've been consistently doing in this couple of months or like 1 year since I started like really doing therapy. And honestly, I of course I would like to give credit to the therapist, but of course also I would like to give credit to myself because um, it I think it took some effort for me to like acknowledge uh, the thing that you have. I mean, the effort that you have put into like showing up in people that you trust and people who you will like to like talk with your own emotions and especially as somebody who is like overly intellectualizing things or like internalizing things within myself. I think that consistency is something that I should be proud of, and of course in the future I probably should even like strengthen it, and also if I could trying to diversify it or trying to like apply the same principle in other relationship or friendships. And one thing that I think I'm starting to like acknowledge is that I always have that sense of like deep emptiness within me, loneliness, or that sense of like emotion within myself. I don't. At the moment I cannot really like verbalize it completely, but every time when I have the realization of how like lonely it feels, like I mean by seeking help when I'm like emotionally down, I have the feeling that I don't have anyone that I trust, not even my family, not even my friends. I mean, I could find a counselor, but I didn't call them. It's just like that deep sense of loneliness that, like, it's just like I don't know how to explain that. And especially with some of my like queerness inside of me, it's very isolating. But before in primary and secondary school, I always felt like no, I don't belong anywhere. I don't fit to what society tells you to fit. It's like it just doesn't click. I mean, when I see people when they form friend groups or when they form friendships, for me it just doesn't click. But or maybe it's just like my definition is of like friendship is different. I mean, fair enough. But I meant it just felt that I don't belong to anywhere. Even though if I try to make the effort in joining different organizations and dealing with like joining some uniform groups and also joining some volunteer works or getting involved in the local community, I whenever I have different people, I always will sense that sense of disconnections and isolation between me and other people. And I sort of realize that there is something that is much more fundamental to me as a person myself. It's like I'm not saying that oh it's a me problem. I mean technically you could say it's a me problem, but I meant in a more soft spoken way to say is that that sense of deep loneliness of emptiness, it's something within me that I have, but I it's not like I can't change it, but I can change the way how I feel or how I feel them. Like even though if I try to like intellectualize it or try to tell me or inform myself that, it's actually not that bad, but you still cannot ignore the fact that you still feel shitty to acknowledge that how lonely you are. But I mean, but but it's but now um when it's just recently, especially with the video I made about being lonely, I somehow felt it's very significant to me, and now I'm able to like verbalize it. Before, I just wasn't even able to verbalize it out, but now when I try to verbalize it out, and really have that urge to not say it, it's just like I'm just not so used to like saying my emotion out, even to myself. I mean, I can type it out, but it's different because every time when I type my own emotion out, it just felt bland and it just doesn't feel it carries any emotion baggage in the words I say. But it's just like in these recent months, especially with the help of my partner, and now I have to like do some more introspections and retrospection to myself where I start to like reconnect myself emotionally, and also with the help of like therapy. It's kind of a very heavy thing for me to deal with. Some of the insignificant things or significant things, they all felt very heavy at once. But now I am trying to like emotionally connect with myself. And now I just realized that I have to continue doing that, but also be aware of um, knowing my limits and know how I can do to slowly extend my mental capacity to deal with this emotional processing thing, because you can't deal with all this thing all at once, because you will get overwhelmed, which I have been experiencing this couple of weeks, which some of the emotions goes back a lot back to many years ago and my childhood. And now when I'm able to tell myself that you're safe and you have to deal with them, because if you don't deal with them, it will just collect itself continually and you will just feel even more shittier in the future. And I I've been so emotionally numb in this couple of weeks and months and also year that I just like drown myself in doing things that is on surface productive. And like in terms of academic, I was just able to like deal with my essay and I just focus on doing things. But in the inside, I just felt that like I'm not living. I'm just like surviving. And now I'm slowly realizing that there are things that I have to deal with, and now I have to learn how to like balance the journey of actually dealing with my own emotions, and now also learn how to also reintroduce some of the things that I used to do. And now I think it will be better to have a new perspective in how to incorporate what I used to do and love to do, and add some new elements to it and new things to it. Uh, I think it will be a very interesting process, because it's like I think it will be a process of like trying to reinvent myself. So to give myself a little bit of credit is that like it's going to be a long journey, but I think it's still good that you are taking the initiative to deal with that. And so um, I think it's a good start. When I was in my therapy today, I talked about something about the feeling of loneliness and that helplessness, and that sort of no one that will listen, and also this feeling of being not understood or just like ignored or ridiculed or hurt. Um, when I sort of talked about that, I become very emotional, but also I have that, that sort of, that defense mechanism of just trying to like push it back into inside, like how I always have been doing. But this time I forced myself to, like, of course, with the presence of a therapist, I learn to like continue to deal with these emotions, because I think it would be necessary instead of like not dealing with these emotions. And as I'm like acknowledging that loneliness and the sense of emptiness that I'm feeling, somehow, 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 there's the sense of like deep hurt inside. I don't know how to explain that, but it just felt significantly better, and it's like I'm actually lifting off something off my chest after many years of just like of handling my own emotions and managing my things myself. Because I think he's also a very good therapist to actually acknowledge what I've been doing all these years. In this primary school and secondary school, I told him that I've been handling things myself emotionally. There weren't people there for me um, in a lot of cases that when I needed, and also when I asked it for it. And and when he acknowledged me that it seems that you have been dealing with all this emotion yourself, um, and I actually felt hurt, felt hurt. I mean, not hurt. It's like I felt being hurt by him finally. Somebody that really at least understand that it turns like it seems that you really have been doing all this thing within yourself and everything have been happening inside your head. You know, in a sense that um I felt okay. Ever since I started therapy, I never felt that I'm being understood by people. But now I actually felt that someone was understanding my inner world. And it was amazing to have somebody acknowledging that because I never felt that somebody would have done that before. So I'm so happy, and actually felt I sort of felt that I'm not alone. So and now I felt so proud of myself that I was able to like slowly let people know there's a lot of an inner world within me, and he listened attentively and was able to like provide response from time to time, and I it felt weird because I never done before. And I sort of think that thing will get a bit better. So he's an amazing individual, and credit to him too. And also, I would like to credit myself for feeling safe enough and trust him enough that I would talk to him about my inner world and share to him about that in a sense of oh. I mean, at the moment, like there's some, I think there's some student researchers outside. They're like, I don't know what they're doing, but I think I'm just gonna let it sink in a bit because before when I cry, I it's common for me to just like not cry soon because I just like suppressing like why it matters. But I just thought it really just matter if you try to verbalize your own emotion, especially if you're crying, and not suppress it anymore. As how I always been doing it, and in some sense now I felt a bit more free to deal with these emotions. And yeah, so this session was amazing. Um, I kind of want to continue to be a bit more emotionally connected to myself because even though it's so overwhelming, especially in this couple of weeks when I start crying and I start listening to myself, listening to the like design of the messages inside myself, it was like overwhelming to the point that a lot of days I just say, fuck it, I just want to like not exist anymore because it's just too overwhelming. And I was just like, and also like acknowledging like the my sense of like, you know, helplessness and loneliness. Um, it it's very stressful, but when things become better, I mean, by like let's say after sleeping and I wake up, even though it still feels shitty, I would still tell myself I rather would feel all this emotion than not feeling it at all. I mean, by numbing myself, because like I think for me, like the most suffocating feeling is like when you are like emotionally overwhelmed to the point that you just numb and you just can't feel anything anymore. and you will just have that very, very deep sense of heaviness inside your heart, and so painful. Like it physically, it feels like it's like being suffocated inside my chest, within my chest, and it feels like drowning every day. When I felt numb and I'm like dissociating. So as recent in this recent few months of times, and also through counseling, I start to like feel more a bit like trying to access my emotional part. It felt a bit better because like in this couple of months I've been dissociating a lot, and I've been like suppressing, and also I've been very stressful, overwhelmed to the point that I can't even use my old way of like trying to like drown myself in work to just like ignore it. Um, and and now and I'm like slowly trying to like feel my own emotions with the help of people, and also um, uh, learning like how I could like enlarge my mental capacity in dealing with things. I start to have that hope that I can do better than before all these years, and I think I should be proud of myself that I took the initiative to decide to seek therapy for my eating disorder and also my other things last year with Cynthia, and seek help in my school's counseling. Like, and there were times that I tried to like ask for like help in my family. Some of them didn't turn out well. It kind of painful, but they still help. They still try to do what they can with the tools they have. Um, I really sincerely hope that things will get better. Although I don't know how to visualize it, but I mean, at the closest point of visualizing getting better is probably I'm able to like emotionally a bit more connected, and also start doing what I have to do on a daily basis, and um, I mean maybe get better sleeps, doing one things at a time, and I guess by the time things get better, I will know, and maybe I can continue make these video records to document my um, change in feeling and my progress. I think it's a very good way. It's not like that I'm not talking to no one, but actually it feels like that I'm like talking to someone within myself, that in a way that allows me to uh, channel my emotional part. And honestly, I also would like to thank you my partner, but which now we are not going no contact for the moment of being, because of having to get our shit together in some sense. And thank you my therapist, thank you my siblings, and thank you my parents. I guess I think things will truly get better. So I think this is the end of this video for documenting my latest process. I guess I know. Yeah. Bye.